Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lunch and Life with Robin and Sharon Ann.
I'm Robin Joy, and you are
Sharon Holand, and I don't know. I can't figure out who's what Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, what days. I don't know.
And what base are you on today?
I'll tell you one thing. In the past, something like this would have totally stressed me out. I'm like, yeah, this is life, right? We're at Lunch and Life.
Exactly. Now we just say, go with the flow, keep rolling.
Yeah, especially since it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're talking really again and in more detail about stress. So you can't stress and sweat the small stuff.
Absolutely not.
Life is too short, right? So last week, we talked about Mother's Day and ways to take care of yourself. And we want to continue the conversation of finding ways to release stress and be healthy and realize that it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to consciously make the effort for ourselves.
We do. And I think, a big lesson I've learned that I want people to realize is when stress comes on, as you said, it will always come on, right? Recognize what triggers you and what gets you stuck, right? So when can you get yourself out of the trigger and out of laughing through it and saying like, okay, we can move past this, or when you really feel like it's got a hold on you, and what is that, and sit with that. You have to, because it's probably linked to something that has nothing to do with this moment. It has something to do with, frankly, probably when you were a kid, or an incident that happened way before you even knew it happened. So you've got to be able to kind of figure that out and uncover it. But it's a good thing to try and figure out what that hook is that it's holding on to you.
I love that tip. It is so true. And I would add that it's also, as you figure out what that trigger is, then go deeper into what's the emotion
right
behind that trigger. And you're right. So much of it is childhood. And the more that we peel back the layers of the onion, the more we uncover, the deeper we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a self-discovery journey that keeps on giving.
And you know what? It could be exhausting at times. It's like, oh, really? I thought I was done. I thought I got to the root of that. And it's like, oh my God, now what?
Yeah. I mean, we both have been doing the work, and we both realized, not that long ago, we've had some interesting things that have come out for both of us.
So oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the best thing to do, yes, I'm going to say it again, journal, write it down.
Yeah, because it makes the subconscious become a conscious thought at that point, and then you know what that is. So anyways, back to stress.
Well, the reason, and the reason that we talk about it so much is that it not only, yes, it affects our mental state, it affects our physical state, right? It affects our ability to lose weight. It affects our irritability. And, even just like thinking about the weight connection, when we're so stressed out in that fight or flight mode, and our body is on that overdrive, the vagus nerve is on fire and just sending out all these messages. And also our body's releasing cortisol, and cortisol really, it helps with that fight or flight, but it also then messes with our insulin. And some people will be like, but I eat well, I'm exercising, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But when you don't manage stress, you can actually gain weight.
Yeah.
Right? So you can gain weight, you become irritable, then you feel bad about yourself, and that just sends you down a spiral. So we want to be able to shift that and offer tips so that you can, as Robin said, become so aware of it. So you can move out of it.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting how much stress does affect your body.
I think people minimize that. And even if we go to mental health professionals, sometimes they just compartmentalize and just look at that one component without taking into effect, like, this is a whole body exploration. And you can't just compartmentalize. Like, our body needs to be looked at holistically, every aspect. Um, I don't know if you've ever done like a wellness wheel.
Yeah, I have.
Right, where, and you can find these online. And we can actually put a link here below also of one. But there's like this wellness wheel. So you look at different areas of your life and you rate it from 0 to 10 and see where you have strengths and where, the priorities are and where they aren't. Because that also is a way to give you an indication, give you an idea of, is this where I want my priorities to be?
Right. And then you know what's kind of bumpy. And then again, it's not fixing everything at once. It's picking that one thing. So let's say, for instance, your environment, when we talked about decluttering, right? If your environment is really on your mind and bothering you and it's not rated highly, how can you fix that? How can you start making steps to move forward? And sometimes I have it. I have it on my site as a balance wheel, I think it's called. But but how do you take those steps to move forward? And again, it's the one thing at a time, and being kind with yourself, because you can't always change everything at once, right? And it's normal because life changes. So things are going to shift.
Love that. And that ties in even what we discussed last week with Mother's Day. Be kind to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? We say this so like almost at every episode, that there's that recurring theme of life. It happens. It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be changing. What can I do to become conscious, to become aware, to look at what the triggers are, to notice what the patterns are? It's that work and the desire to want to do it. It's like you have to ask yourself, why? Why is this important to me?
Right. And that's the big thing. When it's the desire to want to do it, right? It's when if you keep coming back to something that either is not making you happy, or you're at the same point where you were a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and nothing has changed and it's still on your mind, that's when you know you got to start taking the steps to make the change.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. So really, just to recap, simple steps that, you mentioned, Robin, about the trigger. If you want to just like go back over that so that we can just like wrap this up, recap this, and then we'll just share what's going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks.
yeah, so it's just recognizing what those triggers are. And if it's something that you feel really stuck in, that really kind of shuts you down, it kind of gets your gut, it gets your heart, it bothers you to the point where you stop doing whatever you were doing. Start taking note of it. Write it down, start journaling about it. It's almost kind of like a diet. Like, keep a journal of what it is, and then let's start talking about it, and reach out, put it in the notes, or reach out to one of us. Like,
Yeah.
start keeping track about it, and then work towards uncovering what that is, because that's where the discoveries start happening.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Put it in the comments. Let us know what you've worked on, what's come up for you. Because I know even with the work that I do, it always comes back to my mother and my father sometimes. But and I can say this now because my mother and I actually have a really good relationship, but it didn't start until I was in my 40s. And honestly, not even really until I hit 50 and that my mother, who's now 80, almost 81, how she was able to even start waking up and realizing certain things, that we could have honest conversations
Mm-hmm.
about what expectations were, perceived expectations. It's really amazing when you do the work and want to go deep, what you can uncover and what you can release.
Right. And you can release it, right? And it comes down to the forgiveness, and forgiveness really for yourself, to allow yourself to forgive it. It's up to you then to decide if you want to forgive your mother, your father, or whoever else. But it's really forgiveness for yourself, because you're holding yourself back. So
I love that. So that wraps up this week. We've got next week, we're going to start talking about how we're going to be entering summer soon and just
can't
some
believe it.
tips. I know. I do love that it's getting darker out later.
I love that. I know.
That is really nice. And then the last week we are going to do a cooking special for Memorial Day because we love to cook and we haven't done one in a little while. So very excited about that.
I know. I know. I am too. We have a fun menu for healthy cooking and fun Memorial Day. Somebody's going to have a Memorial Day kind of backyard party. So
something's going to be happening.
Something's happening.
So on that note, I love unpacking lunch with you, and everybody like, subscribe, share this with others whom you know would really benefit from this, and that, you know, we would love the support, and comment below.
Please comment below. Thanks for spending the time with us.
Take care.